All right, thank you. Well, welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Protection Policy Committee for Monday, March 13th, 2023. It is now 6 p.m. Roll call. Alder Grant.
Present.
Alder Morgan.
Present.
Alder Scannell.
Here.
Alder Stevens, and here as well. All present. Take approval of the agenda.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Alder Morgan. All in favor?
Aye.
Eight. Ayes have it. Approval of the minutes for February 27th, 2023.
I approve the minutes of 2023, February 27th. So moved.
Thank you, sir. We have a second. Alder Grant. I'm going too fast, let me know. All right, on to regular business consideration of possible. Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Me, my eyes have it. All right, on to regular business consideration with possible action on the change of agent for Sarah Dialgo for Quick Trip Inc., Quick Trip 420 at 1712 East Mason Street.
No objection.
All right, please.
Please concur.
All right,
Motion to approve.
we have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays, all right, ayes have it. Number two, consideration of possible action on an application for a Class A liquor and Class A beer license for Sarpush 3 Inc. at 1335 Main Street with a license premise description as shelves and coolers behind cash counter. Currently licensed as ASM Petroleum. Staff,
No objections.
please.
Please concur. Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
By Alder Grant, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays, all right, ayes have it. Number three, consideration of possible action on a Class A liquor and Class A beer license for Oasis Enterprise LLC at 612 South Military Avenue with a license premise description as behind the counter, shelves, back office. Currently licensed with a Class A beer license for Randy Enterprise LLC. Staff,
No objections.
please.
Please concur.
All right,
So moved.
we have a second. Second. Alder Morgan, all in favor?
Aye.
Me, ayes have it. Number four, consideration with possible action on appeal by Gregory and Jennifer Van Dyne Nelson. 3486 Yorkshire Drive regarding building inspection order 22-1588-601, case number 13-2019. This was issued November 4th, 2022. Attorney.
Yeah, I think we can hear
Yep.
from staff on their update from last time would be appropriate.
So at the last BNP meeting, you asked us to reach out to the two contractors. We did that. We talked to Joe from Greenworks, and he's been working with all three residents on a price before doing the work. We've also talked, I didn't, but Mr. Slacky was joining us remotely. Also talked with Champion Plumbing, and they too can do the work. The discrepancy that we had between last time and this time, why they said it wouldn't work, that was a different proposal. That was when we were talking about connecting the downspout in the back of the house and putting a yard inlet over here. That's the part that they didn't understand and said it wouldn't make any improvement. But since that, we've changed it. We're just gonna connect the one downspout over the back of the house. So both, go
I was
ahead.
just gonna say, have all the parties agreed then to all three parties, properties?
Joe has prices with all three. Jen has it with two of them, so they just gotta pick which one they're gonna use and go forward with it.
But does it seem like all property owners are okay with this plan and agree to do the work?
That's what they have to do.
No, thank you. Very good.
Thank you.
Oh, I do have one last question, just for clarification. I know we kind of touched on this last time because there are the four parties technically total. So if all three properties do the agreed upon work, if there is any more flooding going forward, it will move to the fourth property owner then?
Correct.
Okay, so then motion to deny the appeal?
Second.
Second.
Did we want to open the floor? So she-
Do you have anything to say?
Very briefly.
Yeah.
Oh, motion to open the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Please state your name and address for the record again, please.
Jennifer Vanden Nelson, 3486 Yorkshire Road. We are, just to clarify, we are moving forward working with Champion Trenching, not with Greenway. There was a difference in the contractors when we were working with Champion Trenching. Also, we were assured by Attorney Koshard that there would be a statement on the record from the inspectors, very clear. Alder Grant did ask the question, but I just want to ensure the statement is on the record. So if one of the inspectors could come back up and make that statement that If all three properties with orders on them comply with those orders, if there are further issues, the fourth property will be ordered to take action and will not be our liability. So I just want to ensure that statement exactly
Mhm.
as issued, as said by the inspectors is on the record, and then we are in agreement moving forward.
Well, if anything happens, you can always file a complaint against that one and then staff will get involved that way if nothing
No,
else.
we're not like that.
Well,
So I'm just looking for that statement to be made by one of the
Yep.
inspectors clearly on the record, and then we will move forward with connecting that one down south as
So you'd like the inspector to
to make the
police
full
state-
statement on the record, so it's in the minutes. That's my
it's
question.
on the record.
Was his previous, yeah, it's on the record from his previous statement that he just made.
Okay, as long as we're sure that that's clear.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
All right, thank you.
Motion to close the floor.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
We have a motion in a second.
So motion.
actually, I'm really sorry before we vote. Timeline, is everything okay with the timeline, agreed upon timeline? Because I understand that contractor's out of town. Has that been discussed with you? Is that okay with?
Not between, we'll have to extend it, because I do know that Kevin's out of town
Mhm.
until like April 1st, I believe.
We spoke with Jason and assured Jason that it would be done by June first.
That's good enough.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. I just want to make sure that that was discussed.
Yeah. As long as staff knows people are working and they don't, fine, so,
For the record.
yeah, group hug.
Okay, perfect, vote.
Okay, if we can state who was first and second.
She stated it
Alder Grant stated.
and I second.
All right,
Thank you.
got it. All in favor?
Aye.
Nay, ayes have it. Thank you. Number 5, consideration with possible action and communication by Alder Wery to request an independent outside cyber investigation of the audio listening system at City Hall to include who accessed it and when they were installed. Were any audio recording downloaded / saved? Staff? Attorney?
So up to the determination of the committee, if you'd like to recommend this for referral. In terms of the information, just some preliminary thoughts that I have, because Alder Wery did specifically say an outside investigation. I assume that to be a contractor of the city. So we'll have to do some work if this is referred to determine how we go about selecting a contractor, likely a request for quotes, something of that nature. I don't think it requires competitive bidding, but we would have to go likely out for some sort of proposals. Haven't gotten that far into it, but likely determine what contractors would potentially submit that, put it to them as an offer for requests, and then also estimates of cost. And I don't have anything else on timeline. It really, if it's truly for an outside contractor, that's the process we'd have to take.
I make a
Oh,
question, you.
yeah, just a question. I don't know if the police department can answer this. In a normal, because there's already an investigation started due to the complaint filed. I'm assuming, is this something that would not normally be looked into? Is this needed, or would this possibly be part of the ongoing investigation, I guess?
That's actually a really good question. And it depends on what the investigators in that situation decide to do. And because we have asked for an independent outside entity to do that, it really isn't up to us. If that was something we were doing in the Green Bay Police Department, that is definitely something that I would want to look at, but I can't speak for the investigators that are working with the district attorney's office to resolve the questions he needs resolved to decide what to do with the handful of complaints he's received. Normally, though, you would expect someone in a criminal investigation, I use that word hesitatingly, but in that kind of investigation to do that work. And I'm sorry, there was 2 parts to your question. What was the second half?
No, that was really it. Just, yeah, if this is something that potentially they would be looking into.
It's possible. The other thing, though, to keep in mind is with that, and you know, this is an inquiry that really belongs to the district attorney's office at this point, but just as a matter of practice, in an investigation like that, ordinarily as police, we would not want someone outside of law enforcement looking into any of that stuff because it creates potential problems for that inquiry that the West Dallas police are doing. So I would strongly recommend that anything we do in terms of having some outside contractor come in and start digging through all of this, be done in coordination with, either in coordination with West Dallas and the DA's office, or just wait until after that inquiry is resolved and then we can do whatever we need to. Normally what happens, and where we see something analogous to this, is when we have a criminal allegation against a member of the police department. It's also a policy violation allegation, and you'll see that we won't get too deep into that administrative investigation until the DA's office has weighed in on whether or not there's actually a criminal.
And would we have access to all that information or just the outcome?
For the investigation,
Let's say they do look into this, they find it important, related to their investigation. Yeah, do we just get mostly the outcome of it, or do we get all the information involved?
we should eventually be able to get all that because it'll be a matter of public record.
Okay.
And one thing I would add for Alder Grip clarification, I was looking at the referral, and I know Alder Weir isn't here to further explain. But I was looking at it more of like a personnel matter and a non-criminal investigation. I realized the word investigation was we use, so I mean, if that's wrong, I'm happy to, hear the clarification from Alder Weir about that, because I think what the chief's talking about is criminal investigation.
Right.
And I was looking at his referral as more of a personnel, because obviously when he asked about access and saving video, whatever, there were personnel that have appropriate access for work-related purposes. It sounded to me like he just wanted to know who accessed it when, and then if audio was saved. And it wasn't necessarily from a criminal perspective, but personnel, if that makes sense on the difference from my
Yeah,
perspective.
and I'm more just saying, instead of like doubling up, I mean, if we're
Yeah.
gonna get that information from a different scenario or situation, I would hate to waste resources if we're gonna get that anyways.
The other risk that you run is if this inquiry that you're talking about here, that is more of an internal to the city, like disciplinary investigation. If that involves compelling employees to give statements as part of that administrative investigation, there's Garrity implications if those are also people who may be asked questions by investigators in the West Dallas investigation. And you really, I would strongly advise you to talk to the district attorney's office before you go down that road, because it is very complicated.
That's my question.
Yeah, my questions were, are we gonna be stepping on toes? But on the whole, I am, and this has been pushed in the past by some alders, we are not a body that investigates. For what purpose? What are we gonna do with that information? What action are we gonna take? This is not our business. This is enforcement, law enforcement's business. And if someone wants to file a complaint, well, everybody wants to file a complaint and get the police going in a direction, fine, but to waste tax dollars on this, I think that's a waste of money, and it's inappropriate, it's an abuse of power for us alders to be investigating. There needs to be purpose, and there's no purpose for us to do this. There's purpose for others perhaps, but not for us. We take no action on this. So, because this would be possibly interfering with another investigation, I make a motion to receive and place on file, and should it come to when it's all said and done, although where he still wants to do this, he can resubmit it. But I think it's a bad idea no matter what, no matter when, but for now, it's definitely a caution of stepping on other toes and interfering with another investigation. That would be very bad.
One clarification, Alder Scanlon, he wouldn't have to resubmit it. You all could just put it back on the agenda. If it was denied, he'd have to resubmit. If it's received and placed on file, you would just pick it up at a meeting in the future when he asked for it in accordance with the chairs.
Right, well, that's what I meant.
Similar.
He could
Similar
ask for it to
process.
come back.
Mhm.
Right,
So it'd be the difference of placing it on hold versus on file then.
Right, well, I mean, on
It would
file.
just
would
stay on the
technically,
agenda
yeah,
then?
hold- And what you were saying about resubmittal requires you all to deny it, and then he has to submit it again and go through the process of getting it approved for the agenda. Versus if it's on file, you all can just put it on, he can bring it back.
I mean, I'd like to hear if anybody here has an opinion, motion from the floor before we vote on that.
I would like to address it. I do think it is something we should be considering, all during my walking streets and my friends walking the streets and conferring with them. One of the biggest things our citizens have complained about is transparency in the city government. And first of all, I agree with the chief. There's things we have to watch out on. But at the same time, I think we do need to get involved. Citizens are tired of being mushrooms. They're tired of being kept in the dark and fed BS, you know, so.
Point of order. You are assuming they're being fed BS. That's not right.
I am repeating what citizens have told me,
Well,
so,
without foundation, that's not right from them either.
okay, I've had several people that are citizens of Green Bay tell me they felt that's the opinion that they have on what's going on, so. And that's from before this investigation or stuff about the microphone started. This was from last January, last February, way before this came up. They want more transparency in city government, national government, everything, but I think it's something that we need to keep in mind. I'd be happy if we do refer it to, as long as it isn't gone, we do need to keep an open mind on all the things that are going on. And I mean, I've had citizens come and ask me about school board stuff. Well, we're not involved in that either, but they think we're supposed to be able to give them information. So I'll pass I know we have another alderman in the room that would like to speak.
Couple others. Yeah, I would just like to add, I believe we are incredibly transparent, this government. And that people who feel otherwise are misinformed, just as they are misinformed, that we can inform them about the Green Bay Public Schools. So maybe we need to be better communicators, but there's nothing being hidden. Well, I got to say.
Sorry, Alder Stevens, did you open the floor or not? And we don't need to cover the alders, I just was gonna check on Zoom, but I'll wait till they're done, and then we'll check on Zoom.
There are people on Zoom.
I don't know if they wanna speak, but we'll get there.
Submit, let me make this clear, if they make a motion to receive and place on file, it'll still become before the council. Whether it proceeds from that point, correct?
You mean next week at next week's council meeting?
Yes,
Yes, this is just a recommendation, so council can take whatever action it chooses on Tuesday.
well, I think, if we bring it before the council next week, I think we're gonna pretty much get same opinions that we got last week, that, the city wants answers, I want answers. Sooner we get answers, the better, so. Comes before me next week, moving forward with it.
In frisking, following up a criminal
That's just
investigation.
where I left it, Randy, right there, okay? No comments on it, I'm just telling you what I want to support. as well.
And that's fine, and I can
Okay,
ask
that's
you
all I
a
need.
question, and you can do whatever you want with the question. You've just heard that going forward with this risks the police investigation on this. You want to go forward and risk
I
that
don't think
investigation?
it risks it at this point. Okay, we're still searching for information here.
To get it, you're going to involve yourself, you're gonna get in the middle of a.
Well, as of last week, we didn't even have nothing that was in question yet, so in my opinion, we could have waited another 2 weeks. To bring that before council, okay, so that's where I think it is, and now we're pushing it another meeting yet, and I think we need to bring it before the council. And start making a move on it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
After listening to the chief, I feel that that'd be a little risky right now to do that. If it gets to council, when it goes to council next week, if somebody pulls it, they'll pull it, but. Anytime there's an investigation and anytime there's something important. I usually back off and wait till the results of that happen before anything else happens, so. I just assume not stir the pot on that legally, so let it take its course.
All right, thank you.
One more question, sorry. I know every investigation's different, but is there, I know it's a very loaded question, but I mean, are we looking at 2 months, a year? Roughly on average, what would you guess an investigation like this would take?
It is really hard to say.
No.
We're not the ones doing it. And I can't think of a time where I've investigated something quite like this. It really just depends on what questions the district attorney has that he needs answers to make a decision on the concerns that are in front of him. And in a case like this, it's a very fact specific inquiry. But it is really hard to estimate for you how long this might take. And then keep in mind, the investigation can be done. And then the DA's office really has work to do all the legal analysis to make decisions on what to do with it. So that these things never go as quickly as we would want them to. About the best I can do for you.
Sure, yeah, that's perfectly fine. I guess my only, and I don't know if this is an option to do. So if we refer to staff, that's just kind of getting us some more information as what it would cost us, what we'd be looking at. Do we, by waiting, risk the information going away? Like, is it possible to get this and capture it, not present it or open it until the investigation's open so that it doesn't go away? The information.
I don't think the information is going away because the court has already held.
No, I mean, the
If
third
we went-
party being able to snapshot this information,
So you want a third party to investigate. Them investigating would be an interference with the other investigation.
well, that's why I'm asking this question, if they're able to do that without presenting any information until the investigation.
But just their very much, not even presenting, just their investigating could compromise people with the other investigation.
Right. So in the matter in the state senate versus city of Green Bay case, we have a litigation hold. The things that I think Alderberry is focusing on in this request are who accessed when and anything of saved, meaning it's happened in the past tense.
Right.
Right, it's not the audio that we have that's eventually will be purged as part of our retention. It's about a user. So I don't think that there's not a process in place by which any of that information is going away, but I don't know what it is and where it is. So I think it's just a person's access, like my own as an example. There's an access log. I know we talked about in one meeting last week, there's 30-day access logs for this, but this would really be a forensic investigation because we have a 30-day log that staff could access. But if we really want to do something like this, I don't know if it's possible is the first question, who could do it? As the chief said, likely to be another law enforcement or cybersecurity part of another law enforcement entity, not necessarily a private contractor. And then it would just be a matter of telling us if they can actually do it. So there's a bunch of questions, you're absolutely correct, that we have to answer before we would even be coming back to council to say, this is gonna cost $10,000 or something like that.
And can we get the information? That would be answered. So
Yeah.
I think it's worth doing that background and finding out if we can even do this, what it costs. We're not making a decision to take any action per se. It's gathering the information that is very useful in order to make an educated decision on that.
Good thinking.
So kind of pertaining to her, like West Dallas PD is doing a background or investigation, did you say, Chief? How far back can they go actually and still recover stuff on the servers and stuff?
It depends. Yeah, we're getting a little outside my area of expertise. We do have a forensic computer expert on our staff. Who's pretty good at going back and finding things in computer systems and things that have been deleted off of phones. But there really are no guarantees because they just won't know until they get in there and see what's there. And then if you're looking at questions about, and this is the very limit of my understanding of tech investigations, but if you're looking at questions of did, say, Steve here, sorry, access this at any time over this time period, well, what computer does he assign? Has he gotten a new one since in that time period because his broke, and then where'd that one go? And you look on that machine, and then you've got stuff on the server where this stuff is held, and it is it is a big deal to investigate something like this at the level that you're talking about. And it would probably be worth considering to try to engage somebody who does this kind of work for a living, who can tell you what's possible.
Do you know what our policy is legal for, say it's not a techie that can find stuff that's, what is our policy for holding information? We have a policy, 30 days, it's
For what,
audio
so the.
surveillance.
Yeah, so there's a litigation hold, but our system is on a 180-day cycle, but that's just the actual recordings. That's not people's access, viewing it or saving it, downloading it, whatever for a request or otherwise. So the only thing, that's subject to the retention is the actual audio itself, the video.
But I thought we
Yeah,
were told 30 days, we could see who.
There's an access log,
Yeah.
yes, for every 30 days, but I don't know that those were being saved in any previous time before this last month or so. So I don't know if they can go back and look at a log. That's, again, as the chief pointed out, my knowledge extends just knowing that there is one and not if you can go back and pull the logs from previous times. But there was a log created every day.
Just a question for you.
Mhm.
This is not the same issue as the FOIA request that was put in before, right? That Alder Weary asked for. This is not pertaining to the FOIA request.
No, this is a separate,
Just
this is a communication.
Clarifying that,
Yep, this
this
is the
isn't
communication to the
getting
committee.
bundled in with that.
No,
Okay,
he still has an all, our public records request in
so
the city.
depending what's all in there, doesn't that kind of pertain to what we're asking here to also?
It might, I haven't,
That's what I'm asking.
yeah, I don't remember exactly everything that he asked for, but he's asking for communications among other things. So it certainly could pertain to it if you know, got some information as part of it.
Next week at council, can you make sure you have all that information there in detail? So, and I don't have to ask this again, because I will.
Yeah, you could keep asking, we're
Okay.
working on it, so although we
Okay.
requested a number of things,
Mhm.
including a search of like 6 or so search terms from 20 different people's email accounts
Now we're
at the
getting
city. Yep, and it's a 3-step process to do an email search, just
Okay.
like I did all of your emails when there was a records request recently that took us about 4 months to fulfill. That was 12
Yep.
alders, so it's 20 accounts, we're working on it, I know the
Okay.
legal system was working on it today.
I just started that with that, but it led into that, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine, I'm happy to provide an update, even
Right.
though you're not all the weary, but
Yep.
it's being worked on.
Questions?
Is there a second to my motion?
Not yet.
Can I hear your motion again, please?
Just receive it and place on file. Doesn't hurt it. It takes it,
At that point, will it be brought back up at full council then, or is it?
well, it's
just
just,
go to
this is just,
staff?
this is just reported out to council. The whole thing is reported out to council. And council can do whatever council decides with it. I see no point in going any further with this until all the other investigations are done. I think it's dangerous. I think it's a bad idea, period, even if there weren't other investigations, but that's an argument I won't go into. And certainly spending money on this, I really question alders wanting to do that. Especially some of the alders who were so tight-fisted come budget, couldn't spend money on services. We'll spend money on this. I wonder why. For what purpose? What are we gonna do with this information? What is the action the council's gonna take? But all that is an extraneous argument. The main argument is there's an investigation going. Till those investigations are done, we should not be dipping our toes into these waters at all. So, receive and place on file, and when those investigations are done, if Alder Weary or anybody else wants to bring this forward, it's easy to do.
Thank you. So I understand transparency and communication failures throughout this entire process. We all know that's happening. If we were informed at the beginning, I'm sure we wouldn't be down this road that we're down now. But I do agree that we should receive and place this on file as well because of the investigation with our sister police department. I do not want to muddy the waters any more than we already have. So we have a first and a second. All in favor?
I,
I'm
Aye,
sorry, who seconded?
I will. All in favor, 2 ayes, nays,
They,
2 nays.
And can I just clarify why, again, everything with the city takes forever. I don't see the harm in asking our staff to get us some more information in the meantime. We're not taking action opening investigation next week, but I would like to hear from staff what that all entails, what our options are, so that should we choose to make that decision, we're ready to move forward and we're not doing this again, going to committee, referring it to staff, and then it going to council, then getting the information. Everything just prolongs when we can be proactive. And that's how a lot of businesses function. And I think the government needs to start being that way.
it would come back to committee anyway.
I understand, but we would have information then. Now it would have to come back to committee. We'd have to refer it to, approve it to refer it to staff. It's even start gathering the information. So with that, I don't agree with this process. So
I don't think staff should waste their time on this right now. They got enough to do.
it's just hard to make a decision when you don't have all the information.
All right, thank you.
Well, if they can't, the only information they can give us is a cost.
And if it's even possible, what companies there are. There's information.
Just the companies and the cost. There's no information pertinent to answering that question.
I feel it's important, Randy. It doesn't have to be important to you.
I-
but I feel
that's
it's
fine.
important.
Okay,
That's-
Alder-
you can say that. I'm not saying
We'll
you
debate
shouldn't.
this next week.
Yep.
Alder Morgan.
is respect to the chief and all the understanding of what could contaminate an investigation. I do believe we need to think this out, but at the same time, as one of the alders that voted no on the budget, I still think it's valuable tax money to make sure the citizens are happy with knowing what's going on, so that's the reason I voted no.
Alder, if I could suggest, if you're willing to adjust Alder Weary's communication to be internal, we could move forward internally with asking our cybersecurity expert that the chief commented that they have at PD. I know he was focused on external, but if you wanted to do something internal and gather, I'm just trying to find a compromise, because we do have resources. That's probably the first person I would ask as to where to go out. But I could at least get information from that person, if you're willing to hear from them, as to whether it might be possible. We could probably bring that back by the next committee meeting, I think. I just haven't gotten too far down that conversation.
I guess I'm trying to be clear on what, is it, if I'm hearing you correctly, Alder Grant. I think what I'm hearing you say is you're not looking for someone to start this inquiry, you're looking for someone to tell you what the scope
It's
Yeah.
of this
possible.
inquiry would be. Without speaking for our employee who's doing like 3 people's worth of work. I'm not sure how long that will take. It would take a lot less time than doing the whole forensic investigation, just to wrap your mind around the scope of it. But I can find out.
Yeah, and that's all I'm suggesting, that if. you
Yeah, I don't
want
wanna
to
mess with
refer
an
staff,
investigation.
just
Right.
additional information, because although I've talked to IP in generalities, I didn't go so far as making specific questions, because that usually means we're moving forward, and I didn't want them to get the ball rolling without an approval from council. But I would strictly be information gathering, but it would be internally, and the reason why I didn't do that first is because all the various communication was very focused on external, which means we would have to look outside of the city for even information on how someone would pursue that.
So would we technically be amending his or?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
You could do the motion to do it.
well, we already voted.
No, we-
That was a failed
Retract.
motion.
It
I
failed.
would
Is
fail.
ready for a new
Okay.
motion.
Did you have a question?
Not after that.
Yeah, and I
Just,
would think some-
could we do that same thing at council next week?
yeah, this would just be a recommendation, so you can debate it, change it if you want, all on Tuesday. I was just offering that if you needed additional information, we could maybe get some more information before the next, or for the next PMP meeting.
Okay.
I know there's also gonna be a discussion of finance, because it's items on finance tomorrow.
Well, then I motion to amend it
I have
to
a question.
internal, oh, okay. Sorry.
Chief or staff. So if we change this and we do this internally, and we do it internally and you come to find out that it might hinder that investigation, would you stop that? Or would you still move forward?
As an ethical matter, we can't do something that might compromise an investigation by another agency.
Yeah.
If I may make a suggestion. If we're going to do an analysis just on what something like this might look like. I would suggest that one part of that analysis, and I don't know how long this will take, but that one part of that be some discussion with the district attorney's office on how they think something like this might impact their role in this situation. Because then we're not left trying to speculate on what might or might not cause them problems.
Yes, I think we could add that to the list of information and to point out what the chief is saying, probably not by the next meeting, but we could try and get some information quickly.
So just a referral to staff?
I think to gather information on the possible scope, does that sound
Yeah.
appropriate? Possible scope of
That's all I was looking for.
investigation internally.
I amend her motion then to include the district attorney's office. And if it
Yeah.
needed, West Allen PD would be included in this study.
Who's making the motion?
Me,
Okay, second.
All in favor?
I'm gonna say no, because I still think it's a waste of time.
I'm going to say yes, but if
So
we find out if something is going to hinder, they need to stop.
Okay.
So that would be 3-1.
Mhm.
now was that a vote to amend the motion or is that to pass the motion?
Well, the
The-
first
you
one-
ma-
the
you
first
amended
one-
it.
First
Okay.
one failed, so you're good on the second.
Yeah,
Okay,
you just made a new motion.
All good? All right. Number 6, request by Alderway, which will referred from the Parks Committee for consideration of possible action on the creation of a broad surveillance ordinance and policy for full transparency to public employees and elected officials. All requests for surveillance must be submitted by each department and approved by city council. Refer this to the attorney first.
Sure, my comment on this, and suggested would be, for clarification, what I understood was, some of the comment from council last week is that this is limited to city security, surveillance, whichever way you want to look at it, internally to our own staff buildings, and not, related to the police department and their procedures for, obviously executing their duties. So just wanting some clarification on that in the referral. I think there was some reference to policies in other cities, but I think maybe Alder Grant, you made that clarification thing last week. I don't
Correct.
remember
Yep,
of the desire to not have this relate to external law enforcement activities.
well, and the policy did state, as Alder Eck pointed out during the meeting, that I think it was B said, police and fire were exempt. So yes, I don't want to change that. It was just, I want to make sure we're keeping in mind, like I said, DPW, parks, anything that is ours before that it comes to council before anything gets put in place.
That would be consistent with the policy that was drafted, adopted last week, that that was just for the audio, obviously, but there was an exception for law enforcement activities.
But it did not necessarily include parks and DPW buildings, stuff like that, right? That was only city hall. That's where I motioned the amendment to include those other buildings that weren't necessarily specified.
Okay, yeah, and I think on the referral, if we want to address this, I'm not even sure all those buildings have surveillance systems. I'm not sure.
Right, but
So
we're
this
talking 5
policy-
years from now. What
Right.
if something happens? I mean, we're looking at a future for this and a policy that what would be standard. And my thing is that 5 years from now, DPW comes to us and says, hey, we have a need for audio recordings, then it's our choice then to vote on that, is my point.
And that makes perfect sense. All the city facilities to internal looking operations, whether it be staff or customers or activities inside those and
Yeah.
not law enforcement.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to work now, I'd rather just do it.
Any other questions?
So does staff need to work out this policy exactly? Does it refer to staff?
Refer to be drafted. I don't have one to give you today.
Right, so it'd have to
We
be
just did
referred.
the short ones for last week.
So motion to refer to staff.
Alders, any questions, comments?
second,
Refer to staff, second by Morgan, all in favor?
Well, I think I'm just gonna say, as of right now, just to be show some support. Well, I will support this at the moment. Just a, we can do our group hug.
Civil, Randy, that's the word.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it. All right, thank you. Informational liquor violation report.
Happy to report no violations during this time frame.
Perfect, thank you. Motion to receive and place.
Motion to receive it and place on file.
Second, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay, clerk's office liquor licensing report, please.
There have been no changes and the city of Green Bay still has no available liquor licenses at this time.
All right, thank you. Motion to receive and place in file.
Motion to receive it and place it on file.
Have a second,
Second,
all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it.
Motion to adjourn it.
Have a second,
Second.
Morgan, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're now adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Let's do it again.
You were quiet this time.